Hello and a hello and a very good evening. You are watching Beyond the Boundary on TOI Sports YouTube channel. We are joining you today for another interesting session, and this time we will be shifting our focus away from international cricket, away from the Virat Kohlis, the Jasprit Bumrahs, the Rohit Sharmas of the world, and talk about something which keeps the cricket going in the country. It's the premier domestic competition in India, the Ranji Trophy. We already had the three semi-finalists confirmed, and if Jammu and Kashmir have one good session, they could well make their way into the last four stage of the tournament. So let me welcome all our panelists who will be diving deep into what has happened in this season of the Ranji Trophy, the heroics of Lord Shardul Thakur, Ajinkya Rahane's brilliant 100, how Mumbai managed to come from behind, Vidarbha's run under Karun Nair, and all that jazz. So let's welcome everyone one by one. First, Gaurav Gupta, who is in Ahmedabad to support the men in blue, Nitin Naik from Mumbai, Saurabh Somani, and Chandresh Narayanan. So, gents, first things first. I think first of all, welcome to all of you. It's a packed house, five of us. So
Thank you.
let's start with Gigi. Gigi has been at it. Gigi, how many titles have you seen? Like 22 तो देख लिए होगे 40 में से कितने देख लिए रणजी ट्रॉफी टाइटल
2000. Interesting question actually. 2006, 7. Yeah, 6, 7. I started covering Mumbai, but yeah, 7, 8 से I don't know कितने हो गए होंगे. 7, 8 से maybe around. I think yeah, around 15, 16 तो हो गए होंगे. I mean that is Ranji Trophy, and other than that the other white ball titles भी है उसमें.
No,
So
interesting.
quite a
No,
fair bit.
all these years of covering Mumbai cricket for Gigi, Nitin Bhai, Chandresh, Saurabh, I haven't been at ground zero, but yes, following what the team has been doing, it's kind of interesting how they managed to come back from behind always. When the season started, thought, yaar, ye to nothing bowling attack hai. ठीक है, Shardul Thakur gets lucky, picks those wickets in bunches, but Mohit Awasthi and Royston Diaz, they have been there since forever. Shams Vulani, Tanush Kotian, but they managed to find a way always. इस गेम में भी जीजी they were down first innings के अंदर जम्मू कश्मीर वाला बीकेसी वाला गेम उसमें भी they were down but that Shardul Thakur 100 Ajinkya Rahane 100 here Shardul Thakur's 9 wickets they find a way तो वो खड़ूस मेंटालिटी हुआ तो नहीं है बॉस ये तो है डीएनए में है इन क्रिकेटर्स के
बिल्कुल है, वो शहर की स्ट्रगल है मेरे ख्याल से डेली की जो क्रिकेट में भी रिफ्लेक्ट होती है। जब एक क्रिकेटर अपना किट बैग लग करके और किसी तरह ट्रेन में जंप करके जाता है सुबह-सुबह अपनी प्रैक्टिस के लिए एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ इट आई मीन दिस मुंबई टीम स्ट्रेंथ इज द रेजिलियंस कम फ्रॉम द लोअर ऑर्डर। द टॉप ऑर्डर स्टिल अब जाके जो अजिंक्य रहाणे उन्होंने 100 बनाया, सूर्य कुमार यादव ने भी रन बनाए,
या
शिवम दुबे बैटेड वेल फॉर अ व्हाइल, सो लाइक दैट एंड स्टिल द टॉप आई मीन अभी तक जो रेजिस्टेंस आई है वो लोअर ऑर्डर से आई है. Shardul Thakur scored 100 in that J&K match, and then Tanush Kotian and Shams Malani scored 90s. Both of them deserved hundreds actually. So
या
and Tanush and Shams have been doing a fabulous job. And Shardul in the past few years, last 3-4 साल में देख रहा हूँ कि बहुत पार्टनरशिप लगी है उनकी इस तरह की. And I think ये टीम की बहुत जबरदस्त स्ट्रेंथ होती है. This when this starts happening regularly, and this happens pretty regularly with Mumbai. Except आज जाकर जो है मुंबई की टेल फेल हुई है, which is a rare failure. It's like watching a comet, seeing a comet. तो ये बहुत जबरदस्त स्ट्रेंथ है. इसलिए हमेशा लोगों को बोलता हूँ भाई जब डे 1 पे ट्वीट करने से बचो. तो जब 101 पे साथ हो गए तो मैंने कुछ हमारे पत्रकार दोस्तों की ट्वीट देखे कि अब तो सब खत्म, टेक्निक एक्सपोज हो गई मुंबई बैटर्स की, ये हो गया वो हो गया. रिलैक्स यार, ये मुंबई है. दे नो हाउ टू गेट देयर वे आउट ऑफ नॉकआउट्स, व्हिच इज व्हाई इट्स द मोस्ट डेंजरस टीम वंस इट एंटर्स द नॉकआउट्स. इस बार किसी तरह पहुंचे वहां पर. थोड़ा सा दूसरे रिजल्ट पे भी डिपेंड रहना पड़ा जेएनके और वडोदरा के. बट वंस दे वर देयर, I knew that they will go for the kill, and that is what has precisely happened. And even an HC official told me when they were 101 for 7 that you cannot underestimate Mumbai unless you take all their 20 wickets. They are a
yeah
very
man
dangerous side. They know how to. It's a resilient side.
no, I think from what I heard, there were three major injuries in the Haryana team. 3 players injured भी हुए, but even after all that, the fight back was commendable.
ये
And
देखो, he
this is
doesn't want
one.
to give Mumbai credit only. He's
No, नहीं
giving
मैं देखो
excuses. This
मेरा
is the
काम तो
problem.
बैलेंस इसीलिए मैं आपको
This is
लेके
the
आ रहा हूँ
problem.
ताकि वो बैलेंस बना रहना चाहिए शो में हमें बायस नहीं दिखाना हम बैलेंस रखेंगे सो उसी बैलेंस में आ रहा हूँ चंद्रेश भाई ये सीजन बहुत यूनिक सीजन लगा मुझे मुंबई के लिए जीजी भाई ऑब्वियसली ग्राउंड जीरो ऑलवेज हैज इट्स आईज एंड ईयर्स टू द ग्राउंड आयुष मात्रे अंकुरिश रघुवंशी पृथ्वी शॉ को साइडलाइन किया गया सिद्धेश लाड का हमने वापसी देखा कि मिडिल ऑर्डर के अंदर दे वेंट टुवर्ड्स एक्सपीरियंस दे डिड टेक द कॉल्स व्हिच आर रिक्वायर्ड but even after all that, yeah, somehow finding that way, and now you know winning winning by such a big margin when you were almost down and out, and it needed a Lord Shardul Thakur to do his stuff. आप अंशुल कंबोज के बारे में भी बात करना चाहेंगे, इसलिए मैं आपको क्यू दे रहा हूँ. लॉर्ड शार्दुल, अजिंक्य रहाणे, अंशुल कंबोज, तनुष कोटियान. इंग्लैंड की बातें शुरू हो गई होंगी अब दिमाग में सिलेक्टर्स के, कि नहीं अभी भी बूम बूम बुमराह पे अटके रहेंगे?
नहीं, आई थिंक दैट इंग्लैंड की बातें तो पहले ही शुरू हो गई होगी जैसे ही ऑस्ट्रेलिया टूर खत्म हो गया. They would have started planning for the England tour. I would be very surprised if they are not planning for the England tour. I was just looking at some of the numbers before that because India A का दौरा भी होने वाला है उसके पहले. I'm
या
hoping that होगा.
या
ये ना हो कि पैसे बचाने के लिए कहे कि कोई नहीं जाएगा. पर अगर देखा जाए नंबर्स, आई थिंक जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के आकिब नबी को आपको इंडिया ए के दौरे के लिए बिल्कुल देखना चाहिए. अच्छा नंबर्स है उनका. उसके अलावा शम्स मुलानी है, तनुष कोटियन है, अंशुल कंबोज है. मैं एक नाम यहाँ पे डालना चाहता हूँ जो मुझे पता है सब लोग मुझे ट्रोल करेंगे इस बात पे कि वो अभी नहीं, बट आई थिंक दैट दैट पर्सन शुड बी इन कंटेंशन फॉर अ स्पॉट ड्यूरिंग द टेस्ट मैचेस अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड. एंड आई नो इट वोंट हैपन, बट आई एम स्टिल गोइंग टू गो अहेड एंड से इट, एंड दैट इज जलद सक्सेना. Because he's again put up good numbers this season, and with that off spinner all rounder slot available now with Ravichandran Ashwin retiring finally, I would still go for that particular thing. I think sometimes in Test cricket you need to think short term, and you've got 5 Test matches at home this season. You must consider Jalaj Saxena. It doesn't matter if he's going to, he's not definitely going to go to England, but you need
या
to start thinking short term in Test cricket and in T20 cricket. One day cricket, obviously, you can plan 3 years, 4 years in advance. But in Test cricket and T20 cricket, you can afford to think short term. And I think that Jalaj Saxena is a name that I would look at very closely. He'll be picked or not picked. That's a different matter. But I'm just throwing a name there because I think
या
that he's you need to reward him for his performance because I think that he's done well. Also, I think another name that I would look at very closely for the India A spot is Wadkar, the Vidarbha
या
wicketkeeper
विकेट
captain.
कीपर बैटर कैप्टन.
I
या
think again he's had a very good season. Jagadisan has had a very
फिनोमिनल
good.
नंबर्स. या
Yeah, Jagadisan has had a very good season. Harvik Desai has a very good season. I'm looking at the India A squad specifically because it's a red ball tour. India A doesn't play white ball anymore. So just
या
looking at the red ball factor, the next best thing to playing for India in Test cricket for all these Ranji performers is to be playing in India A. So I would
या
start looking at those guys who have performed well in Ranji Trophy across teams, not just limiting myself to Mumbai, to go on that India A tour to England. और वहां से जिसका भी performance अच्छा होगा, they get picked to play Dulip Trophy, and then they play. They do well there and Irani Cup and so on and so forth. So that that could well be the progression path. But someone like a Jalaj Saxena, I would seriously be looking at him to play against West Indies and South Africa at home in the Test matches. There are 4 Test matches. My mistake, not
या
5.
No, but
And sorry.
you make a valid point there, Chandresh bhai, but I
And
don't think they're
इसीलिए
going to look back
राहुल
toward.
राहुल बल्लभ करके कोई कमेंट कर रहा है, उनका एज मैं जानता हूँ, उनका एज मेरे से तो कम ही है, तो वो खेल सकते हैं, मैं नहीं खेल सकता.
No, but I think जो आपने अभी एक एक पॉइंट रेस करा कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ही प्लानिंग शुरू हो गया होगा, आई थिंक वो प्लानिंग शुरू हो गया था, इसीलिए तनुष कोटियान को वहां एक फीलिंग लेने के लिए टेस्ट टेस्ट क्रिकेट का बुलाया गया था. एंड आई थिंक ही डिजर्व्स दैट स्पॉट राइट नाउ अहेड ऑफ जलज. यस, जलज हैजंट पुट अ फुट रॉन्ग, बट इज जस्ट अनदर अनफॉर्चुनेट story of Indian cricket that Jalaj Saxena never actually got that opportunity even after putting in the hard yards for Madhya Pradesh, then for Kerala right now as a professional cricketer. Now, um, सौरभ, ये बहुत बात होता है यार इंडिया ए टॉर्च का, सब कुछ का. अभी हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए, वी सॉ दैट इंडिया ए प्लेड अ सीरीज देयर, बट द मोमेंट द लास्ट गेम अराइव्ड एंड देन वी सॉ केएल राहुल कमिंग इन देयर, समवन लाइक Ababa Indrajit had to sit out, Ishan Kishan was in the setup, but then with Dhruv Jurel coming in, Ishan didn't get the time to kind of prove his worth. So do these game actually matter? अगर आपको शैडो कराना है या क्या, आप करना क्या चाहते हो? What is your aim from these games? Do you want to prepare the next crop of cricketers, or probably give exposure to players who are already likely to be part of the squad for the England series?
These tours sometimes feel like what our test selection was in Australia, trying to cover every base. You
Yeah,
want to give chance for exposure also, but obviously because we the international calendar is so packed that you don't have the luxury of warm up matches. So if there are some test regulars available beforehand, you want to give them that time in the middle also because it will
yeah,
help for the test series. तो उस वो मिक्स एंड मैच करा के करते हैं, which this is, I mean, it happened in the Australia tour. I think there's a good chance it could happen in England also. It of course depends whose team goes how far in the IPL. But if there
Yeah.
are some players available, there might be one match where they'll play. And also about Jalaj, I think I want to just repeat one line that he had said a few years back to me, because he was getting the best all-rounder award at the BCCI's annual awards every year. So he was like, मुझे award मिल रहा है पर reward तो नहीं मिल रहा है, because you are being, he's the leading wicket taker, he's scoring a lot of useful runs, and still is never even India A, which is shocking.
Yeah.
Duleep Trophy, India A sides, if you go back and check, he has missed out on so many Duleep Trophy and India A sides when he's been like possibly one of the two or three best domestic cricketers going around. So I feel like, yeah, just for that, no, I agree that right now Tanush Kotian might be the guy that is looked at as the backup, but just for that, I wish he does go on that trip. He does like a Shahbaz Nadeem. Shahbaz Nadeem had like such a long career in domestic cricket,
Yeah.
doing in and out, bowling day in day out, day in day out. और suddenly उसको एक टेस्ट डेब्यू जाके मिल गया. And even if he's out of the reckoning now, he's of course retired now, but even if he was out of the reckoning right after that, he would have said that मैं टेस्ट क्रिकेट खेल लिया for all the years of hard work that I've put in and the results that I've achieved. So
Yeah.
that way, I agree with Chandresh entirely. I hope Jalaj Saxena gets a go. And yeah, about the warm-up matches, I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is whether Shardul Thakur makes a comeback. He has had
Yeah.
Imran Khan-esque stats in the Ranji Trophy so far. I was just looking. His average is over 40 while batting and under 20 while bowling. मतलब this is Imran Khan at his peak. So he, उसके बाद भी अगर उसको सेलेक्ट नहीं करे तो एनीवे लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस.
No, interesting, and I was getting there, but before I get to Shardul Thakur, because Gaurav Gupta certainly can't stop smiling when जब
नहीं,
जैसी शार्दुल ठाकुर का
मुझे
नाम
जल्दी
आता है.
निकलना है ना, तो आई वांटेड टू से शार्दुल ठाकुर एंड इमरान खान इन द
मैंने
सेम
ट्वीट कर दिया
सेंटेंस.
है मैंने ट्वीट कर दिया कि अगर शार्दुल ठाकुर और करुण नायर को नहीं लिया इस सिलेक्टर में इंग्लैंड के तो डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट बंद करो, ताला लगा दो और चाबी फेंक दो कहीं पर. बस आईपीएल खेलो साल में और क्रिकेटर्स को बोलो बाकी कुछ खेलने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि हम तो
वो
कुछ
जो
कंसिडर ही नहीं करते हैं.
एमसीए तो जीजी जो एमसीए का फंक्शन हुआ था 50th एनिवर्सरी का, वो अवार्ड सब वापस देना पड़ेगा सबको फिर, अगर ताला बंद डाल दिया तो.
नहीं, डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट की रेलेवेंस अगर रखनी है तो आपको डोमेस्टिक परफॉर्मेंस को रिवॉर्ड करना पड़ेगा, वरना कोई फायदा नहीं है. कोई 750 रन बना के भी टीम में नहीं आएगा, कोई इस तरह का परफॉर्मेंस करके भी टीम में नहीं आएगा, तो कोई फायदा नहीं है. फिर उसके बाद में कुछ अब ये मत बोलिए कि यार डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेलो, वो खेलने से अच्छा रहता, नहीं खेलोगे तो पनिश करेंगे. सिर्फ इसलिए नहीं हो सकता डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट की पनिश करना है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं देना है, सिर्फ इसलिए थोड़ी होता है डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट.
No, interesting point, right? And this brings me to a certain character who becomes relevant every time a England tour or a fixture in England is right ahead of us. Ajinkya Rahane was struggling in the red ball format. अब यहाँ पर आकर second 100 लगा दिया. I remember saying his place could well be on the line in the shorter formats for Mumbai, but again वहाँ पे देखो open करा, and now discussions have already begun KKR captaincy को लेके. I think Gigi, you did that story right? कि KKR captaincy में पूरा chance है रहने का. So
वॉच
even
आउट
that
फॉर
is
दैट वन. मैं भी इस पे ऐड कर दूं, वॉच आउट फॉर दैट वन.
ठीक है.
जल्द आपको इस बारे में भी कुछ सुनाई देगा.
ओके, तो अजिंक्य रहाणे का सडनली एक रेलेवेंस फैक्टर दोबारा आ गया है इंग्लैंड टूर से पहले. So Nitin, you see the selectors going back that way. Ajinkya Rahane, middle order, against the moving ball, experience of playing there. That's what you did when you played the WTC final. You made that SOS call when you needed him. So is there a chance of that SOS call? Or you think this, because रोहित ने एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बोला था, अरे अभी अजिंक्य और पुजारा रिटायर नहीं हुए हैं, वो ब्रिस्बेन की एक प्रेसर में आके बोला था.
Yeah. No, but with this management, I doubt it. I think the previous management were more receptive to the idea of recalling the, the has-beens, if I may say so. Because then you saw Cheteshwar Pujara and Rahane being brought back for the WTC final, and but under this management, I've seen that they have been a little more, what do I say, bolder, or they really do not care about the outside noise, as people say, Ajit Agarkar, and that's why you saw the selections that that we have seen so far, both during the home series against England, where they punted on the younger players. And
Yeah.
because if you bring back Ajinkya Rahane now, then suddenly you are going to discard Sarfaraz Khan suddenly. So which would be very unfair on him, because that is the spot that number five, number six. That is where so if Rahane comes back, then what happens
Yeah.
to Sarfaraz Khan, who you have been carrying through five tests in Australia, who got a brilliant 150 in Bangalore, but and
Yeah.
just because now he's out of the reckoning, it should not be a case of out of sight, out of mind, which often happens in Indian cricket.
Yeah.
So I don't think as big a fan as I am of Rahane and his captaincy especially, which was evident in this match, and he's somebody who makes the players play for him. He has that characteristic where the players just like to play for him. Be it Ashwin, be it Pujara, everyone has spoken very highly of his leadership skills. But I
Yeah.
don't think under this management, under Ajit and under Gautam Gambhir, I don't think they are going to go down that route.
Interesting. And then, before we let Saurabh go, I'll take his quick comment on someone जो जब खेलते हैं the powers above even start playing for him, and that man is Lord Shardul Thakur. मतलब क्या, मतलब what story, man. मतलब you're not picked at the IPL auctions, you're out of national reckoning. Gautam Gambhir, I think, openly said that they have moved on from the likes of Shardul Thakur. He did mention at one of the press conference that we have moved on, and now here he is. The chatter has begun again. Shardul Thakur with bat and ball, delivering the goods in the red ball format for Mumbai. Where do you see his journey being headed to now? Because this makes that all-rounder spot discussion very interesting. Now that you have Nitish Kumar Reddy in the mix, and Shardul definitely with the ball offers more than Reddy, but with the bat, if he can
Definitely.
do that, with the
Hmm.
bat, if he can do what he's doing right now, I think he becomes a very handy customer in England with the Duke's ball. I'll come to Chandresh. I'll quickly take Saurabh's comment before he's let go off, and then we can hear Chandresh aram se.
No, I think Shardul Thakur ka whole career, at least in the international career, I mean, he has been a domestic stalwart anyway. For anybody who has seen even a little bit of domestic cricket, he has been around since more than 10 years now, and he has been leading wicket taker of Ranji Trophy also in 1 year. He has been amongst the top guys always. At international level, his career is of the unexpected. Like, I remember when he got that 6 or 7 wicket haul in South Africa in that test series, he was the bowler lowest in the pecking order anyone would have picked to get all the wickets. He's bowling with Bumrah and I think Ishant was still there at that time, Shami. But Shardul Thakur got all the wickets, and that's what he tends to do. I think he just does all this unexpected so often. I was honestly quite shocked when he didn't get picked in the IPL auction. I thought, despite his whatever, slightly fading white ball bowling skills, he offers enough, and as an Indian player, that you would want him in your squad at least. But anyway, that didn't happen. He might still come as an injury replacement. Let's see. But he's responded in such a brilliant fashion, right? Like, he's been doing it with bat and with ball for Mumbai. And I agree with Gigi. Like, after this, if you don't pick him, then with on what leg are you going to stand on when you tell everyone that नहीं नहीं domestic खेलने का ही है, domestic important है. तो अगर important है तो आप उसको importance दो. It's not just important to do as a checkmark exercise. It has to be
Yeah.
important actually. So yeah, that this was good. I will listen to Chandresh's comments offline. So I'll have to leave now.
See you.
Thanks a
See you.
lot.
Thanks.
See
Thanks,
you.
Saurabh. Thanks. Over
Thank
to
Bye.
Chandresh. Over to Chandresh for some lordly matters.
No, I'm just saying that Shardul very unfair. But if I were him, I would just quietly, I would have picked up a contract with the county side. But
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
easier said than done. I remember my time. I was just thinking that when I was in class, I was getting into class 10. There was this prestigious coaching classes over here in my suburb, where if you were part of the summer vacation batch, where they finished the syllabus within 1.5 2 months, it was SV batch. If you got into that, you were considered to be part of the elite list. I unfortunately got into the SDV batch, which is summer Diwali vacation batch, which was you finish 70% of the portion in summer and 30% in the Diwali vacation. So that was considered a step down. I understand what Shardul is going through, and every other cricketer who goes through what every other cricketer in India goes through when they are not picked in the IPL. because I have been in that boat. Because it is easier said than done. That it's okay if you don't get into the IPL, go somewhere else and play. So I can understand what he must be feeling. But I would use this as an opportunity to get a county contract, go and play, put up runs, get a feel of the condition. He's played there before. He'll understand what it is to play there. But like Nitin said, look at the combination of the test team that went to Australia. Where do you
Yep.
fit in all these performers? If you have to fit in a Ajinkya Rahane, you have to get rid of a Sarfaraz Khan. If you have to fit in a Karun Nair, you have to get rid of an Abhimanyu Ishwaran. Both those guys didn't do anything wrong in Australia because they didn't play. If you have to fit in the Ranji performers, the red ball performers, these guys have to replace two other big players and also possibly Shubman Gill because he didn't put up any runs. So this is the problem. So that's why I'm saying that now with India A only playing red ball cricket and the Indian T20 squad largely being an experimental squad, the best white ball performers in Indian domestic cricket should get a slot in the Indian T20 team, and the best red ball performers should get a slot in the India A squad wherever they play, whenever they play. That's the best way. That's the only reward that I can think of, because the big tours, anyways, the big boys are going to be playing. We are not going to take any hard calls any which way. And with the century the other day, those calls are gone again. So
No,
I
but
think that
Chandresh bhai, one big player has already taken that selfless call. He's not going to England.
who's that?
That selfless call is taken. One big player you won't find on that flight to England.
You mean Ashwin?
नो बाबा, अश्विन ने तो पहले ही ले लिया ना. सेल्फलेस कॉल तो एक ही जगह से आता है ना.
So he has decided he'll not go to England.
99% is not going to England.
तो फिर वो सेंचुरी का फायदा क्या हुआ?
सेंचुरी का फायदा तो चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी के लिए था ना, वरना तो बातें ऐसी भी सुनने को आ रही थी कि हार्दिक कप्तान बना दिया जाएगा चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी के लिए. पतंगे तो बहुत उड़ रही हैं अभी, मतलब selfless kites are there in the sky. It's just that you have to look above and find out which way it's heading, and that brings a smile on Gigi's face. Gigi, now second point, Karun Nair. I'll come to Nitin bhai after that. Karun Nair, again, familiar opposition. England has, I think it could have been the most difficult thing for Karun Nair to do, leaving a settled state like Karnataka, which carried him for more than 2 seasons, because he was all at sea. He was not scoring runs. He was a burden for the side. They finally decided to let go of him. He moved ship to Vidarbha. Didn't quite have the start he would have liked, but this season, starting with the white ball format, then Ranji Trophy has come very good with Dhruv Shorey. I think both of them, दो professionals जो उन्होंने लिए, बैटिंग को इतना solid करा. उमेश यादव injured थे, available नहीं थे आपके लिए, but in spite of all those challenges, Karun Nair doing what he did, it speaks volumes of the mental toughness he has, and probably still has that India dream alive and kicking.
आई थिंक बड़ी करुण नायर का जो टेस्ट ऑफ फायर है वो अब शुरू होगा सेमीफाइनल से. देखो यार, रणजी ट्रॉफी जितानी पड़ेगी उनको, और कड़क एक दो सैकड़े मारने पड़ेंगे, एंड दैट विल प्रूव दैट ये नहीं कि 750 रन बनाए थे वो एक ही टूर्नामेंट के लिए बनाए थे. दैट इज व्हाट इज क्रिटिक्स आर सेइंग कि इतने साल से क्या कर रहा था, अब उसे सडनली बना दिया, अब आप कह रहे हो इंडियन टीम में ले लेना चाहिए उसको. सो दिस इज which is not entirely a wrong argument also. But my point was कि if somebody is performing to this level in which is the first question I asked Ajit Agarkar when he announced the squad after he announced the squad for the Champions Trophy. I said, what about Karun Nair? Was he even discussed? He said, yeah, it went on for we sort of do recognize that somebody has performed outstandingly well in Vijay Hazare, but we unfortunately do not have a slot for him right now, but we will keep him in mind and all that, so on and so forth. So I think he should still be on the first standby for the Champions Trophy, and obviously जगह नहीं निकल रही है वहाँ पे, क्योंकि Shreyas Iyer was perhaps the only weak spot so called, but उन्होंने करके बता दिया कि how invaluable he is through the white ball side. But when it comes to the red ball side, I think still वो है scope. I agree with you that last couple of seasons, having played county cricket, having done well, the amount of first class cricket experience he has, but then that has to convert in taking the team to the title. I mean, I know it will be a bit unfair to expect him to do that solely, but then a lot depends on him as a pro player, as a really experienced player, who's at the peak of his powers. And Mumbai ka challenge, it's not a small challenge. So if he manages to pull this off, then
Yeah.
definitely I think he should be ahead in the race of a lot of people. And I hope what happened with him the last time was there in the Indian team does not get repeated. Wherein he was there in the team, I think 18 tour, 2018 tour to England, didn't get a game and then was sent back. And I think Anuma Bihari came in his place and he didn't get a game. So वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, even if he goes for the A tour, if he does well, he should be promoted to the test side and eventually recalled into the 11. This business of sending people to A tours and not playing them, it doesn't cut ice with me. Abhimanyu Ishwaran scored a couple of hundreds in Bangladesh on the A tour 2-3 years back. Poor guy didn't even get to play a test match there. Even with KL Rahul being out of form. So ये सब चीजें थोड़ी सी जो है देखते हुए, I hope KL Rahul gets a fair treatment. I hope he makes use of this opportunity and sort of comes really good in the semi-final against Mumbai.
No, yeah, Nitin bhai, I think Gigi makes a very valid point that group stages are done and dusted. Even I heard a lot of arguments on the similar note कि करुण नायर ने विजय ट्रॉफी में जहाँ रन करे, those were belters, वो एकदम पाटा थे, batting paradise wickets थे. But all said and done, 750 runs are 750 runs. I think you just can't discount or ignore the volume of runs he has piled up in the domestic circuit. And it's never easy to play as a professional. The way Jalat Saxena has been slogging for Kerala, and now this guy has been doing for Vidarbh. Mandeep Singh has been doing for Tripura, and all these men are still scoring the runs and still have that the burning desire to represent the country again.
Yeah, it can't be easy. I mean, having tasted success at the international level, having the limelight, having the five-star comforts, and then coming and playing, in empty stadiums where,
Yeah,
maybe two watchmen and three dogs are watching you. So, it speaks very, very highly of their motivation and their hunger and their love for the game to keep going. And obviously
yeah,
now it has been made reasonably financially rewarding also to keep on playing,
yeah,
especially if you keep playing till the final, or you end up making a decent sum of money. But I
yeah,
feel that again, as Chandresh and Gaurav both said, that slot has to open up at the same time. It's a classic. Um, I mean, Jalat Saxena also hasn't played for India A, right? I mean, he
no, he
hasn't played a
hasn't.
single game for India. Yeah, I mean, it takes me
He
back to a
has, but
wonderful
yeah.
left-handed batsman from Tamil Nadu called S. Sharath, who's now the selector.
Yeah,
He also was
Jalaj has played for India.
wonderful.
he
Jalaj
has
has
played for
played for
India.
India.
Okay,
Okay,
Jala just
okay,
played for
okay.
India. Yeah, just played a lot.
Okay, okay,
Played a lot.
okay, yeah. So Sharath probably was one guy who could not even get into the India A side, and because you had such a packed and a gifted middle order. Amol Mazumdar, another guy who played very well up to a point, but when those selection matches came, both Presidents 11 or the game against the touring side, poor guy could not score at that moment, and he was competing with Lakshman Dravid and Ganguly. So
yeah,
sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. But Karun Nair, the he wasn't treated well then. But does it mean now that to make up for that, do you pick him and cull someone else from this current side? I don't know if two wrongs don't make a right. So
yeah,
again, you're talking about replacing maybe a Sarfaraz Khan or a Nitish Kumar Reddy or a Washington Sundar who have done well in difficult conditions. I know not rewarding domestic performers can be extremely deflating, and it
yeah.
defeats the purpose of domestic cricket. But what do you do with the performers who have done well? Unless a couple of retirements happen, and we all know who we are talking about, these guys stand no chance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. It may sound harsh, but I think that's the sad reality where Indian cricket find itself in right now. And one team which finds itself in a very good space for the last couple of seasons at least now is Jammu and Kashmir. They've been littered with administrative mess for the last 10 years now. There have been multiple mentors who have been there. The likes of great late Bishan Singh Bedi started that movement in Jammu and Kashmir when he became the head coach, instilled that match winning ability. Then Irfan Pathan became the player come mentor. Then Parvez Rasool inspired the Valley when he made his debut for the Indian cricket team. And now, I think for the last couple of years under Ajay Sharma and Krishna Kumar, their bowling coach, I've heard a lot of first-hand stories from the players, how the culture has changed in the JNK setup, and the results are showing, right? And I was told last year that don't be surprised if JNK play the semi-final very soon, and they are, I think, one good session away from doing that. जीजी भाई, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर बहुत बात होता था, एंड एक फर्स्ट हैंड स्टोरी मेरे पास इसका है, बिकॉज इट वाजंट एन आइडियल डेब्यू, बट my younger brother made his debut, first class debut for Delhi against JNK last season. And one thing which he told me, he played at the hostel ground in Jammu. Fog tha, barish hua tha, ekdam thand tha, and it was like a green lush top. He said the ability of JNK bowlers to hit the seam and make the ball talk is like second to none. They are like the finest seam bowlers in the country, and that is why you see the likes of Akib Nabi, Umar Nazir, Umran Malik. पहले जब वो seam hit करता था लाल बॉल से, they are like very difficult bowlers to face. And रोहित शर्मा को तो खैर बीकेसी पे वो दिख ही गया था. So Gigi, your observations from seeing JNK's rise and the bowling unit which they have assembled, good names there, consistent names, and that consistency reflecting under Paras Dogra this season now.
Sahil, just after their match finished, their big stunning upset over Mumbai, second time in 10 years, obviously happened. So Ajinkya Rahane was full of praise. The Mumbai
Yeah.
captain was full of praise for J&K seamers. He said we had tried to prepare for them, but they were really good in this match, and they took advantage of a green top and sort of ran over. They were all over like a rash on Mumbai's batting, especially in the first innings. 120 पे out कर दिया उनको, और they were relentless. And then I spoke to Paras Dogra. I did a story. Also, he said that ours is the best pace attack in India right now in domestic cricket.
Yeah.
He said Akib Nabi तो ऐसा बॉलर है कि आप उसको रात के 3 बजे भी उठाओगे तो भी वो वही स्पॉट पे डालेगा बराबर. He is that good. And he said that Yudhvir, of course, Yudhvir, I think he said that गौतम ने उनको बुलाया था for pre-season nets also. Indian team के जो nets थे वहां
Yeah.
पर Yudhvir
Yeah,
को
I
बुलाया
think
था. He took 7 wickets
Yudhvir
against
Yudhvir
yeah.
LSG के लिए खेला भी है. Yudhvir LSG के
खेला
लिए
भी है
खेला
LSG
भी
के
है.
लिए. Yeah. He looked very impressive to me.
Yeah.
Sure, short India prospect. Nabi also. Umar Nazir obviously was very good. Got Rohit out and and didn't celebrate out of respect. Ki matlab I've sort of idolized the guy. And then Paras was telling me कि ये तो तीन है, and they one or at least two out of them would have missed out. अगर
Yeah.
उमरान मलिक और ये fit होते. I'm forgetting the name of the other fast bowler. He is also very good. Razik Salam. He was saying that मुझे बहुत difficulty, and this is last season. He's captaining them for the first time. He's saying it's a big headache to pick three out of them. It becomes very, because they're all so good, and not just that. He said apart from bowling fast and this thing bowling well, they're also very big hitters. तो बोलता है
Yeah.
नेट्स में बड़े बड़े छक्के मारते हैं लोग. They've got real dum in their hands. बहुत
Yeah.
ताकत है इनके हाथ में. And they're extremely enthusiastic. He was even Abdul Samad, Samad की बहुत तारीफ कर रहा था. Samad also was saying that there was a match against Orissa, red ball cricket में, especially IPL में तो हम जानते हैं कि वो क्या कर सकते हैं. Red ball cricket में he was saying that there was a match against Orissa, and it was a very difficult track, and he hit hundreds in both the innings. कहता है आराम से छक्के मार रहा था ये बंदा, out
Yeah.
of nowhere. So they are full of, कहता है इनके मैचेस ज्यादा टेलीकास्ट नहीं होते हैं compared to say
Yeah.
Mumbai or a Delhi or a Karnataka. इनके मैचेस उतने टेलीकास्ट नहीं होते. It's a comparatively still a छोटी team. Maybe
Yeah.
this performance will pitchfork them more into the limelight. So
Yeah.
seeing all that, they're really coming, and thoda administratively bhi, things are getting better. With this colonel being in charge. I'm forgetting the
Yeah.
retired army man.
Yeah.
So
Anil,
so so
Anil Brigadier जो है
and
Anil.
Anil, yeah, with him in
And
charge, things are getting to
yeah.
be on track. So I hope that things are, and Mithun Manas has done a wonderful job. He was telling me, in
Yeah.
preparing them for specifically for the Mumbai match. They were here in Mumbai 10 days earlier before their clash, and playing on red soil pitches to prepare them accordingly, and so on and so forth. So I think things are going in the right direction, and BCCI has a lot of what Paras was telling me कि BCCI के पास opportunity है कि talent explore करने की यहाँ से काफी
Correct.
going forward.
So I think that is what happened, right? When Nitin Bhai Irfan went to the valley, and Bishan Singh Bedi's stories to
Yeah.
go back very long way. What he did with the under 14 teams, under 16 teams, it was like a pura ek comprehensive approach. But Irfan started that whole drive of picking players from the valley, camps होते थे, talent camps होते थे. Yesterday I was listening to Ravichandra Ashwin's YouTube channel. वो आजकल काफी अच्छी बातें बोलते हैं. And one thing which he mentioned when they asked about expanding the whole T20 setup, ज़्यादा leagues में ज़्यादा players खेलने चाहिए. one point which he mentioned, I think, still stays with me, that the rise and competitiveness of cricket and expansion of cricket right now depends on the on how the associate nations perform, because that is where your bigger talent pool will come from. So similarly, even in the Ranji Trophy, the struggle of Delhi and UP, आई एम बोर्ड ऑफ टॉकिंग राइट नाउ, दिल्ली यूपी का बात ही छोड़ देते हैं. अगर मुंबई मुंबई एमपी और कर्नाटका जैसी टीम्स के साथ आपको कंपेटिटिव एक रणजी ट्रॉफी चाहिए, जहां पे आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट साइड्स भी देख रहे हो, आई थिंक स्टेट्स लाइक JNK एंड विदर्भ नाउ राइजिंग अप. विदर्भ ठीक है, वसीम जाफर के अंडर भी बहुत अच्छा किया था, बट अगर ऐसी स्टेट्स आगे अच्छा करती रहेंगी, it augurs well for the domestic health, for the health of the domestic competition in the country.
Yeah. I mean, the Ranji Trophy should not be restricted only to the big cities. I mean, and which has happened. I mean, you saw Rajasthan win a couple of times. You saw Vidarbha win a
Back to
couple
back,
of
yeah,
times.
yeah,
And and which was so refreshing to see. And last year, Vidarbha also played very, very well again, and
yeah,
they came very close to beating Mumbai in the final. But
yeah,
you- see, what we need now is for JNK to have another season like this next year.
yeah,
Let's we they should not be a flash in the pan where then we all get very excited, and then next season, it's like this. I forget the fast bowler's name. Gurbani.
yeah. Rajneesh
In
Gurwani,
in yeah, in
Vidarbha
the
to
year that
Maharashtra. Yeah,
yeah, in the year that they won, and we all got so excited, and we all said no, he should be picked, he should be fast track, and then the next season he was just gone. So what I want is for this system, whatever they are having this year, to continue or maybe better it, so that
yeah,
they can replicate it, and then maybe we can start talking about this side having the wherewithal to push the big boys,
yeah,
because let's let's give them some time to develop. Let a
yeah,
couple more. I was watching that game at the BKC, and what I liked about those quicks was, uh, from the first spell to the last spell, they were bowling at the same intensity, and that's what I enjoyed very much. They
yeah,
they they rushed the batters. They bowled with the same venom, and amazing accuracy, and hitting that length where the batters are uncomfortable. So I want that this team has another season like this next year. Let's hope
yeah,
that tomorrow, they roll over Kerala and enter the semis. That will be a wonderful story.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, anytime when smaller teams or less fancied, let's not call them smaller, less fancied teams do well, it's always a wonderful story.
yeah, absolutely. I think, and it all started with Sunrisers Hyderabad too, right? When players from the Valley just
Yeah.
started coming out of nowhere, and you saw SRH के अंदर एक अलग JNK 11 चल रहा था, जो हालांकि bench पे था, but हाँ, there was an intention to start blooding these youngsters from the Valley.
Yeah.
Chandresh bhai, you would have been following what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir, how the system is kind of changing for the good. There's a lot of infrastructural changes which have happened. They have developed a couple of very beautiful grounds there. The hostel ground which I was mentioning, वो एक university का part है, and the outfield and all is so lush. They have had very extreme weather conditions there for half of the year, I think. But in spite of all that, they're managing to do a very good job. And that day is not far. From what I'm hearing, that day is not far that you will have an international match in the Valley, which could be like, मतलब एकदम path breaking move हो जाएगा अगर वहाँ पे international match हो गया तो.
नहीं बहुत बढ़िया होगा एंड आई थिंक आई एम लुकिंग एट सो आई गॉट वेरी एक्साइटेड एंड आई वाज फॉलोइंग cricket journalist from Jammu and Kashmir and asked him about the fast bowlers to look out for, because looking at we get snatches of it on YouTube where
Yeah,
there's some other Jammu and Kashmir fast bowlers clip which is uploaded as a shot, and you look
yeah,
at that, very difficult to form your opinion based on the shot. But the very fact that they are hurrying the batsman with their speed, and then the seeing Umar Malik do well and not
yeah,
playing for India and then not being in the picture anymore. I don't know what is happening with him right now. Him and Mayank Yadav, I guess they will be fit from March 21st. So I think that these kind of boys have to be looked at very closely,
yeah,
especially Akib Nabi. If you
yeah,
pick Akib Nabi for the India tour, why I'm insisting on the India tour? Because if you look at, it's all very well for us that you have to be picked for the Indian Test team. But you have to be logical. There is no spot unless, like Nitin said, people retire, or you get so bold that you are able to drop a few people who didn't perform in Australia. Say
Or people
Shubman.
become selfless. All people become selfless.
People become, or Shubman is dropped because Shubman outside Asia has done nothing. Even if we try to couch it by saying that he's
Yeah,
a brand, an upcoming brand, and everything, fact is he's done nothing in Test cricket, and he's
Nothing.
yeah,
nobody when it comes to T20 cricket. He's
yeah,
exact fit for one day cricket. He and Shreyas Iyer are perfect fit for one day cricket and not the other
yeah,
two formats. We have to be honest about it. When we say white ball, they are not fit for white ball. They're only fit for one day cricket. So
yeah,
I think that in that case, you can that's the spots open up and then you can blood in a few people. Otherwise, it's very difficult for these guys to get in. So the next best thing for them is to play India A and keep hoping that they get in. And then similarly you had that Rohan, what's his second name, Kona Manu or somebody from Kerala
Rohan
who
Punamal.
went on
Ro-
India A
Ro-
Punamal.
to Bangladesh.
yeah, yeah,
He was rewarded for that for his performance in domestic cricket by a spot in India A. For number of years we had Jeevan Jot Singh and Robin Bish going on India A trips or playing for India A. So till the person doesn't graduate to play for Test cricket, utilize them to play in the India A format. The same thing happened
yeah,
with VVS, Rahul, and Saurav as well back in the day when the India A concept started.
yeah. No
Just
interest.
one thing, Sahil,
Yeah,
that Chandresh very nicely mentioned about rewarding players at the right time. I also want this business of deciding a player's worth by just watching him in the nets. That business to end. Because for some we've had this episodes with players like Ranadev Bose. I believe the same has happened with Ishwaran also. That अरे यार net में ठीक दिख नहीं रहा है. He's not looking
yeah,
good in the nets. So I hope that players don't form or the decision makers do not form their opinions based on a couple of stints in the nets, because who knows, if you don't, if let's I mean what I have a problem with is people playing God. Suddenly you decide that this guy is not good enough. सरफराज को शॉर्ट बॉल खेलने को नहीं आता है, उसको फ्रंट ऑफ द विकेट शॉट्स नहीं है, 3 बार इंडिया में आउट हो गया, तो शायद वहां पे खेल नहीं पाएगा, उसको सिर्फ या तो सिर्फ उसको पीछे का शॉट है उसके पास, नहीं वो आई मीन लेट्स नॉट प्ले गॉड, गिव हिम दैट, एटलीस्ट अलाउ देम the at least give them the opportunity to fail. Why do you want to play God? That's all I'm, because this business of I keep hearing that नहीं यार नेट्स में देखा ठीक नहीं लग रहा यार, so that business has to end.
Sahil, sorry to cut, but just to build on this, I can name
yeah,
two players. One is Umesh Yadav back in 2011, when everybody was dropping injured on that England tour. I happened to ask a very renowned former India player, shouldn't Umesh Yadav have been here instead of RP Singh? He said, nah, matlab nahi. And 2 months later, that same former India player was praising Umesh and Varun Aran for their super speeds for when they made their test debut for India. Similarly, Shivam Dubey, I saw him 10 years ago playing DY Patil T20. I was calling that game and I happened to speak to a former India player. He said, nah, yaar, leg in leg hai. And now today, Shivam Dubey won a T20 World Cup for India. He was part of the T20 World Cup squad. So,
yeah.
the Indian cricket में judgment pass करना बहुत आसान है. They're all Justice Chaudhary.
तो चलो अभी सबका सबका एक क्विक जजमेंट और प्रिडिक्शन ले लेते हैं. रणजी ट्रॉफी सेमीफाइनलिस्ट तो मोर और लेस मोटा मोटी डिसाइडेड है. मतलब ऑल सेड एंड डन, केरला स्टिल वेरी मच इन द कॉन्टेस्ट, 100 for 2, बट स्टिल एन अपहिल टास्क टू स्कोर 300 मोर रन्स. सो अगर समझ लेते हैं कि गुजरात और जेएनके का मैच हो रहा है, एंड गुजरात मीनवाइल रवि बिश्नोई coming in as a professional player, Priyank Panchal coming back, opening for the side after turning a commentator cum writer on Twitter for some time. गुजरात के fortunes भी बदल गए हैं. So Mumbai, Vidarbha, Gujarat, JNK probably. What is the prediction for the final and who do you see winning the trophy? जी आपसे पूछने का जरूरत तो नहीं है ना शायद. बॉम्बे फाइनल, बॉम्बे टाइटल पहले ही बोल दिया.
नहीं 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 दोस्त, आई थिंक विदर्भा के साथ विदर्भा में खेलना, नागपुर में खेलना बहुत टिपिकल चैलेंज होगा वो जामठा में. ठीक है ना.
Okay.
because Vidarbha at home, Vidarbha last year भी बहुत it was a hard nut to crack for Mumbai. Fifth day जाके वो collapse कर गए. For a while they even threatened to chase that humongous total down in the fourth innings. So it's not
Yeah,
going to be easy. Vidarbha has become a very spunky team now.
yeah,
And Jamta उन्होंने हराया था 2018, but it was a long time back. I agree. This time Mumbai seems to be everything seems to be coming along pretty well. So they go in as definitely as favorites, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Vidarbha, I think, will be quite a tough nut to crack. And in the other semi-final, hopefully, which is JNK versus Gujarat, I'm pretty excited to see Gujarat also back in the semis. And I've covered a Ranji season in which they were the champions. I think it was 16-17. They beat Mumbai in the final. So it will be an exciting, and obviously JNK will be the story of the tournament if they go
yeah.
through to the semis. So it will be exciting times ahead.
Nitin bhai, and then we'll close with Chandresh bhai. Predictions, judgments.
I'm seeing a Mumbai Gujarat final again, like 2016, 2017. I think the stars have kind of aligned for Mumbai. This season reminds me very much of that 2006, 2007 great season that Mumbai had. When they really, really struggled for the first three games. They were, I think, a loss away from being relegated to the plate division, and then from there they ended up winning the trophy, and they had that great semi-final. I covered that great semi-final when they were 0 for 5, and from there they ended up winning that game and went on to beat Bengal in another great final. Here also credit to the BCCI and the powers, and the think tank, whoever they are, for agreeing to all the captains and the fast bowler suggestion to have enough gaps between the knockout games, so that the fast bowlers are fresh for back-to-back games, which was not the case last year. I think Shardul Thakur made that point at the BKC, where he said that uh, the gaps between games are very, or Rahane, I don't know, maybe Gaurav will correct me. So he said that
Shardul,
the
Shardul,
gaps
Shardul,
between,
Shardul.
the gaps between the games are so less that it makes it really difficult for bowlers to keep running in. And I think the BCCI have taken note of that, and and have increased the gap. I think this season mirrors the 2006-2007 season for me, and it will be uh, one hell of a win if Mumbai go on to achieve it.
Chandresh bhai, closing remarks.
Yeah, you spoke about Priyank Panchal. Priyank Panchal has made a career out of being India A captain. And so he's a prime example of somebody not making it through, even though he was part of two test tours. Now,
Yeah.
I think that Mumbai will go through, and it'll be poetic justice for Mumbai if they play J&K in the final and beat them to win the trophy, and shut all the critics up, especially those who wrote off Mumbai after the loss against
Baroda.
J&K.
Baroda
Huh?
also, no? Baroda also
बड़ौदा
ना
नहीं,
they
Shardul
wrote.
जेएनके
also.
Baroda.
जेएनके के अगेंस्ट हार के तो ज्यादा ज्यादा लोगों ने ट्वीट किया.
हाँ,
हाँ,
जेएनके से
पर
जब हार गए, मुंबई क्रिकेट खत्म हो
रोहित
गया,
खेल रहा था.
फिनिश.
हाँ रोहित खेल रहा था इसलिए. बट आई थिंक वो बरोडा का अपसेट, आई थिंक वो बहुत इनिशियल इन द सीजन दैट
But,
वुड हैव रॉक्ड मुंबई मोर देन प्रॉब्ली जेएनके, क्योंकि जेएनके में
but,
तो
but what is the status of Umran? Will he be available, or will he become fit straight away on March 20th?
वो त्योहार खेलेंगे. वो त्योहार सीधा त्योहार होगा, क्योंकि अभी मयंक यादव तो इधर, मैं कोटला गया नहीं था कोहली के मैच के लिए, बट जितना मैं सुना वहाँ लोगों से जो बच्चे ट्रेन कर रहे थे, जो डीडीसी का प्लेयर्स जिम है विच इज एक्सक्लूसिवली फॉर द प्लेयर्स, मयंक यादव वाज इन द जिम ओनली, तो वो नेट में बॉल भी नहीं डाल रहा था. ही स्टिल इन
He's
द जिम.
Why are you jealous? He's holding himself back
Who?
because he's a heavy
I am
workload.
not jealous. I'm jealous because he can afford to go to the gym. Like he has the time to go to the gym, and unlike like all of us sitting here who are putting on the
वो
extra
दोनों
kilos,
वो दोनों अब
and he's
एनसीए के परमानेंट रेजिडेंट्स हैं. एनसीए के परमानेंट रेजिडेंट्स, एज रवि शास्त्री सेज.
No,
They
no,
will
but
have NCA I card.
I hope JNK brings back Rohit Sharma, the fast bowler.
he's a
So at least
brilliant
some
fast
Rohit
bowler.
Sharma.
No,
So
no, he's
at
a
least
brilliant fast bowler.
yeah, no, I'm saying at least some Rohit Sharma
Yeah.
is playing the Ranji Trophy semi-final. What is the status of about him?
Who?
That Rohit Sharma, the fast bowler, is
I
unfit.
think he wasn't picked. He wasn't picked this season. मैं उसको इस सीजन बॉल डालते देखा नहीं. But he's a very gifted bowler. उसका भी सीम पे कटता है अच्छा. But having said that, अब अगर मेरा prediction आप लोग पूछोगे, मैं तो चाहता हूँ जेएन के टाइटल जीते इस साल. कुछ डिफरेंट
I
होना
agree
चाहिए.
with you.
क्या
बिल्कुल
मुंबई
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
मतलब एक
बिल्कुल.
एक सोचो कितना वो रीजन को अपलिफ्ट कर देगा वो टाइटल, एंड कितना रिन्यूड होप आएगा फॉर एवरीवन,
रणजी
बिकॉज
ट्रॉफी फ्रंट पेज पे आ जाएगी बहुत टाइम बाद.
हाँ, मतलब SRH का जो एक वेव चला था JN के क्रिकेटर्स का, उसके बाद वहां पे भी एक ट्रेंड हो गया था कि सबको छक्के मारने और तेज बॉल डालनी है। सब वो मुरान मलिक मॉडल पे जा रहे थे। एक देयर इज वन फास्ट बॉलर, लेफ्ट आर्म फास्ट बॉलर, 6'3", 6'4", उसका एक बहुत छोटा सा ब्यूटीफुल स्टोरी बताता हूँ। इंडिया एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया वर प्लेइंग अ वनडे इन मोहाली बिफोर द वर्ल्ड कप, 23 वर्ल्ड कप से पहले। सो आई हैड गॉन देयर व्हेन आई वाज विद माय प्रीवियस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। तो मैच वाली दिन सुबह दिल्ली के क्लब का वाज दे वर प्लेइंग अ मैच अगेंस्ट JKCA अंडर 23, JP आत्रे टूर्नामेंट का मैच था। सो JP आत्रे एंड ऑल दीज टूर्नामेंट्स फैसिनेट मी अ लॉट। मैं गाड़ी उठा के वहां मैच देखने चला गया। वहां एकदम लंबा खंबा बासित बशीर बॉल डाल रहा। अब वो बॉल तो उसका अच्छा कट रहा, सब कुछ कर रहा। मैं कहा यार इतनी ऊपर से बॉल डाल रहा है, 125 से ऊपर डल नहीं रही। फिर अब मैं वो यूट्यूब क्लिप्स वाले पॉइंट पे आता हूँ, क्योंकि मैंने फिर उसकी यूट्यूब क्लिप देखी और मैं देखा उसमें तो रॉकेट फेंक रहा है। फिर वहां उसी की टीम के बैठे लड़के ने बोला भैया ये 1.5x पे अपलोड होती है सारी इंस्टाग्राम पे वीडियो, तो इन पे क्या मत हो देख के। तो अगेन I think lot of talent in JNK, and they are kind of वो एक gift of the valley जो है, the way they are built, stronger calves, stronger thighs, and foundation
They
बहुत
need some
strong है.
batting. They need some batting talent, though. They need some
Yeah,
batting
I think
talent.
I think I think that is where Mithun Manas being there
थोड़ा
and
बहुत है।
getting like
Yeah.
a Paras Dogra, अभी इनका कन्हैया वाधवान करके कीपर एक बहुत अच्छा है। ऊपर अगर देखो विवरान शर्मा एंड ऑल,
आबिद
they're like
मुश्ताक
good.
है, आबिद मुश्ताक
Abid
इज
Mustaq,
देयर, आबिद
Shubham
Yeah.
Khajuria है, they're like good
शुभम
stroke
खजूरिया
players,
है।
but yeah, but I think Paras Dogra could be that glue that holds them together, because Paras Dogra ने तो घाट घाट का पानी पिया है, so no one probably knows the domestic circuit
एंड ही
better than
स्टिल सो
Paras.
फिट।
Yeah. Oh,
ये
is
तीन
he?
तीन
या सेकंड इनिंग में उनका कैच देखो, जो बॉम्बे वाले मैच में अजिंक्य रहाणे का कैच व्हिच ही टुक एट मिड डाउन और मिड ऑफ, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग वन ऑफ द टू प्लेसेस, डाइव करके जबरदस्त कैच,
Superb.
सुपर कैच, मतलब
तीन नाम JNK के अपकमिंग फास्ट बॉलर का है, वसीम बशीर, आतिफ
Yeah.
चौधरी और मनित। तो ये कह रहा है कि ये 140 प्लस डाल रहे हैं आजकल।
वसीम बशीर डालता है, वो बासित बशीर था, वो बासित बशीर अब धीरे हो गया है, जिसकी मैं बात कर
ओके
रहा था। वसीम बशीर तेज है। वसीम
ओके
बशीर इज, आई थिंक वसीम बशीर वाज विद वन ऑफ द IPL साइड्स आल्सो लास्ट ईयर एज सम नेट बॉलर और समथिंग, पता नहीं किसी
हाँ
टीम में तो शायद था, सुना था
हाँ
मैंने। यस,
हाँ।
या Okay, on that note, gents, let's wait for the Ranji Trophy and we'll join again tomorrow. Third ODI, Ahmedabad. Let's see कितना 4.5 घंटा बचा है। इंडिया टाइम 12 AM, 12 AM दुबई टाइम IST। कोई बम गिरता है कि नहीं गिरता, उम्मीद तो बहुत कम है बम गिरने की, बट देखते हैं। अभी काफी सेल्फलेस पतंगे उड़ रही हैं आसमान में, बाहर जाके खोजते हैं किसका नाम लिखा जा रहा है उस चैंपियन स्क्वाड शीट में और किसका उड़ाया जा रहा है। On that note, thank you very much for joining in. We'll join tomorrow 12:30. A reminder, there will be a change in time tomorrow because India are playing the third ODI against England in Ahmedabad, where Gigi is. So we'll join for that preview show. Let's discuss what combinations could be played tomorrow, whether Arshdeep will play, whether India will bring back Kuldeep Yadav, where will KL Rahul play, will Rishabh Pant get a look in, all those things, but those are for tomorrow. Today it was all about Ranji Trophy because we don't want to be typecasted as just the star boy favorites. So keep watching TOI Sports Beyond the Boundary. Like, share, subscribe, and follow us across our social media handles. Thank you for watching and keep watching.